Tonight on Chris 6 News, water was on the agenda at Corpus Christi's State of the City. We'll hear from Mayor Paulette Guajardo on the city's plan next. Plus, enrollment is now open for people under the Affordable Care Act health insurance, but there have been some changes. Coming up, Neighborhood News reporter Makila Chavez will explain what's new this year. Chris 6 News at 5 starts right now. Well, good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Clara Benitez Cortez. Mayor Paulette Guajardo tackled some of the most important topics impacting Corpus Christi during the annual State of the City event. The mayor opened her address by reassuring residents that city leaders are working to secure a more reliable water source for the region. Telling residents she's been in discussions with Governor Greg Abbott to explore a range of options. Mayor Guajardo also highlighted city successes, including more than $839 million invested in street repairs and continued priority on public safety through their fire and police departments. She said Corpus Christi is moving in the right direction and setting an example for other Texas cities.
The people of Corpus Christi deserve a brighter future with an economy that will bring us even more opportunities. This same economy has allowed our budget to grow to $1.4 billion.
The mayor added that she's focused on creating more jobs and strengthening the local economy, noting that hourly wages have risen by 65% over the past 2 decades, while the cost of living has gone down. She says her goal moving forward is to improve quality of life for every neighborhood across the city. Well, speaking of water, how bad is our drought situation right now? We bring in meteorologist Stephanie Luber, who has a drought outlook for today.
Yeah, Clara, it's not great, and it's probably not a surprise for most folks because where's the rain been, right? So let's talk about that first. Rainfall is something that we continue to slack on, and it's not our fault. Mother Nature just doesn't want to give it to us, but we're already behind for the month of November, and we're less than a week in. So here's a look at the latest numbers. Have the wide view for yourself. Today, of course, no rainfall at CCIA or anywhere in the coastal bend. So for November, we have recorded 0.07 of an inch at the airport total. That was the same day that we had our hailstorm across the coastal bend. And while I didn't see any hail at the airport, the liquid rainfall was appreciated. Even still, we are behind by almost a ½ inch at the airport for November alone. For the year, we've already gone to a foot behind. So we will get an update on this last week's drought update and see what changes there are in the watershed and locally.
The government shutdown continues to be felt by millions of Americans, and transportation is starting to feel that impact. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the Federal Aviation Administration will soon begin cutting the number of flights in the high traffic parts of the country starting tomorrow. Airlines were told by the Department of Transportation officials that flight cuts would start at 4% Friday, 5% Saturday, and ramp up to 10% next week. Duffy also saying passengers should expect significant delays due to air traffic controllers going without pay and being unable to work. While Corpus Christi International Airport isn't directly going to see those cuts, we are a hub for those 2 major airports, including Houston International and Dallas-Fort Worth, and also Denver.
Government needs to get out of a lot of these situations. We don't need to be in the air traffic control business. We don't need to be in the TSA. We need to have it, but it needs to be privatized where things like this don't affect, people's lives.
A group of legislators are meeting in Washington today to try and find a solution to end the shutdown. Well, nearly 5 million SNAP food recipients will not receive any benefits in November under the partial benefits plan that was revealed earlier this week. Some families receiving assistance are making too much money to receive the partial benefits. The Department of Agriculture says that it will issue partial benefits this month by tapping into SNAP contingency funds.
Open enrollment for Affordable Care Act health insurance has begun, and this year you may notice a few changes. From higher costs to uncertainty in Washington, here's what you should know before you sign up.
We have the conversation that you kind of have to have insurance in the world we live in today. Everyone's kind of concerned, and I know it's like an anxious topic that we'll talk about.
For some, it might be overwhelming.
They're getting lots of mail, and they're getting lots of email, and they're getting lots of phone calls.
For others, it's just confusing.
They need to know not just what their benefits are, but how to use them and where to use them.
I sat down with insurance broker Rita Garza, who says the first step is reviewing your plan. Your income or benefits may have changed since last year.
Because the insurance you have right now might have been great last year, but your deductible might have gone from $500 to $3,000.
Second, subsidies are higher this year.
So the original cost of a premium might have gone up, and so if you get a discount of $700, then that comes off of that bigger premium. So you might pay a little more for premium.
Next, deductibles are higher. That's what you pay out of pocket before your insurance kicks in.
So out-of-pocket maxes look like $9,200, $10,000 sometimes.
That's why clients like Rebecca Valencia are getting back on coverage.
I've had it for 2 or 3 years, but this past year I didn't have it. So I've gone ahead and made my appointment to resume my insurance.
Without coverage, Garza says medical bills can add up fast.
I've just seen some different situations where friends haven't had insurance and things have come up, and it's just made very stressful situations, and sometimes it's hard to get your health care taken care of. So I'd rather just be safe than sorry, especially with little ones. You have to make sure you're covered.
As for the government shutdown, if you're applying for Medicare, expect delays. Call wait times that used to be under an hour can now stretch for hours.
The government shut down. A lot of people are not in the offices, or there's not enough people to handle the flow of clients that are applying for insurance right now.
And one last tip. Call your doctor now to make sure they still take your plan.
If their doctor doesn't take it, then they can hit rewind. I know I picked a plan, but I need to change it.
Now, for coverage to start on January 1st of next year, you have to enroll or change plans by December 15th. For more information, head to our website, christv.com. In the studio, I'm Michaela Chavez.
All right, Michaela, thanks. And Chris Communications and Mazda Corpus Christi are teaming up to help out our neighbors who are struggling to feed their families without SNAP benefits. We'll have a food drive Monday at Mazda Corpus Christi on SPID to benefit the Coastal Bend Food Bank. Drop off non-perishable food items at Mazda of Corpus Christi all next week, or scan the QR code on your screen and donate directly to the food bank. We hope you join us in this effort to help so many of our Coastal Bend neighbors who are struggling during this time. And if you've been to McDonald's in town, you might have noticed these penny phase-out signs at some of their locations. They tell Chris 6 News in a statement, following the discontinuation of pennies nationwide, some locations may not be able to provide exact change. The issue affects all retailers, according to U.S. Mint's 2024 annual report. It costs 3.69 cents to make and distribute 1 penny.
This has caused the U.S. Treasury to not make money, in fact, to lose money. And that amounted to $85.3 million of a loss.
Well, many other countries have already abolished coins like the penny, but Crowley says that doesn't mean it won't come without a cost to consumers because of how prices are set in the U.S. Tony Jaramillo will have the full story coming up tonight at 6.
I'm Melissa Trevino in Jim Wells County. Several correctional officers stepped into new leadership roles Thursday. Their promotions come at a time when the Jim Wells County Jail faced a shortage of correctional staff.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
Did you know correctional officers are hard to come by and retain? I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Jim Wells County, speaking with officials on the ongoing shortage in their department. 3 Jim Wells County correctional officers promoted for their service.
I decided to go into corrections to better help inmates that come in from our community, to get sources and try to help them.
Lieutenant Joshua Hawk started as a correctional officer just 11 months ago. He's always had a dream to be in law enforcement. The Alice native tells me it takes heart to serve behind the walls where people can't see the work they do.
It's very important to have jailers because we are a line of defense in a jail, obviously behind walls that we don't get seen every day, but we do a lot.
Bianca Garcia has been with the department for more than 2 years. She's now a sergeant and hopes to inspire positive change from the inside out.
Hopefully make a change of the inmates. Hopefully they can do better.
Garcia says this job isn't easy, but it's worth it.
Sometimes it's rough and hard, but throughout the day, we still get to get out, come see our families, but then the next day go back.
Across the state, jails continue to face staffing shortages, something Sheriff Joseph Guy Baker says he's working to fix here.
We have all of the applicants to fill all of our vacancies. But there will always be that struggle.
For several months, 3 deputies who would normally be on patrol training have had to work in the jail. Baker hopes to fill those spots by the end of the month to have them back on the road.
If you want to work and start your law enforcement career, you start in the jail. Give me a couple years there, and then I'll sponsor you to go to the police academy if you want to be a deputy.
Sheriff Joseph Guy Baker says they're hopeful that promoting within the ranks will boost morale and encourage others to apply in any jail setting. In Jim Wells County, I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter, Chris 6 News.
All right, Melissa, thank you. And if you want to see more news in your neighborhood, check out the Chris 6 Plus streaming on our YouTube channel, bringing stories straight from your neighborhood 24/7.
All right, that commute home is starting to look a little more golden hour-y out there because of our time change, so please be careful. I know it's hard with that sun angle right in your eyes, but there's a lot of folks out on SPID right now, and we're seeing stop-and-go conditions. So take a look at the maps. 37's looking good. Downtown is a bit busy, but where we have that interchange on the crosstown and SPID, yes, it is sluggish that way. You may want to take an alternate going down Staples if you dare. There's also a typically sluggish route as well. Wherever you go, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. I've got your forecasts on the other side of this break. All right, here's the view around the coastal bend. A couple of places. We just talked about how busy it is on SPID in the crosstown, so it's going to be a sluggish commute, but boy, oh boy, you have that top right view of Sand Dollar City out in Port Aransas. That is one of the reasons why we live in South Texas, isn't it? Beautiful weather out there in November. It's even warm for this time of the year by coastal bend standards, so take a look at the temperatures right now. If you thought it was warm today, you were exactly right. We were past our peak heating of the day, so these temperatures are on their way down, and we're in the lower or upper 70s, I should say, along the coast, but we are still hanging on to those upper 80s for inland neighborhoods. A real big difference from coast to brush country, and humidity has a lot to do with that. It's actually had a really big role in our forecast really for the past couple of weeks, but we're seeing a slow gradual increase in the humidity. Notice the fog night before last was not as impactful, but this morning you probably had a good time seeing some fog around the area and having a little bit of a delay for the morning commute. That humidity is slowly increasing. Temperatures have been increasing a lot faster, and that's where we notice it in the afternoon time frame. So a lot of the difference that we're seeing between the coastal neighborhoods and inland neighborhoods is how much humidity the wind can draw in. Our winds have generally been from the southeast. At times it's more of a south influence. That direction influences how much moisture we can pull from the Gulf. So inland neighborhoods are not going to see as much humidity, which means you can be cooler in the morning and hotter in the afternoon. Along the coast, you're going to stay parked in the same place. Either way, hasn't been enough humidity to really give us rainfall, but it has been enough to give us some fog, and I think as we head into tomorrow morning, we're going to see more of that dense fog, especially for the brush country and those of you who are west of 281. Also going to impact the commute along 77, but along the coast, we should be just fine because our winds are going to help us out there being breezier, but we should see those visibilities for a lot of neighborhoods across Jim Hogg, Duval, Jim Wells, dropping down to around a quarter of a mile or less and lingering more into the morning time frame. So I would expect another dense fog advisory to be issued by the National Weather Service for tomorrow morning. Keep that in mind. Give yourself some extra time for your Friday morning commute. But at least it's going to be a little more warm as we start the day. Most of us are going to start in the 60s as opposed to just shy of it. So maybe you don't need the sweater by morning. You definitely won't need it by the afternoon. If you have Friday night plans, where that includes football, art walk, Greek fest, it's going to be a warmer evening up until about when the sun goes down. Then it'll be much cooler. But humidity is the one thing that could really help us out with rainfall, and we just won't have enough for it. In fact, when our cold front comes through this weekend, can you guess when? It's really going to dry things out for us. So meaningful rainfall, out of the question here. But some cooler temperatures, well, that could be as early as Monday morning. So I think that's really going to help us out. Unfortunately, we're about a foot behind on our rainfall for the year, for the month. About a ½ inch. So our drought update for today looks like this. We have seen worsening conditions in the coastal bend and within the watershed. So hopefully we can get some more rainfall as we head through the rest of November, but it's our dry season. So if nothing else, we'll count on the cooler temps next week.
Well, this past week's hailstorm caused a lot of property damage in our area, but it also hit some marine wildlife pretty hard. Take a look. Over 200 marine birds were rescued from Shamrock Island in the days after the storm. They are now in the care of the Amos Rehabilitation Keep or ARC in Port Aransas. Texas Parks and Wildlife Coastal Bend says the Estuaries Program, the Nature Conservancy, and the Heart Research Institute helped rescue the injured birds and take them to the ARC. They are hopeful that many of these birds will be rehabilitated to the point where they can be returned back to the wild. We'll keep you posted, and if you want to know the largest hailstorm in the Coastal Bend, check out the science snippet on christv.com/weather. And if you're an avid coffee drinker like me here in the Coastal Bend, make sure you pay close attention to your cups. On Thursday, Agape Ranch kicked off their Sleeves of Support campaign with the help of local coffee shops and DNC Fence Company. The annual event is meant to raise awareness for the children in the foster care system. The event also corresponds with National Adoption Month. With your morning coffee, the sleeve will have a QR code you can scan to learn more about their cause.
We have a lot of kids that parental rights have been terminated, and they're just praying for a forever home, and so we want to bring awareness to that need here in our community.
The Sleeves of Support campaign will run until all the custom sleeves have been sold. If you're interested in learning more or just want to know if your favorite shop is on the list of participating businesses, you can check out the list on your screen now or go to our website, christv.com.
A small town with a big dream. I'm Ana Conejo showing you how local business owners are joining forces to bring life to Sinton.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
A group of local business owners are coming together with one goal in mind: to shine a light on their community and bring more visitors to their small town. I'm Ana Conejo, your neighborhood news reporter in Sinton, speaking to members of Sinton Forward, an organization aimed to boost sales and tourism in the area.
It's an event many are excited for. A town-wide sip and stroll in downtown Sinton, aimed to bring in locals and tourists from all over.
We have not only the 18 brick and mortars, but we also have pop-ups happening all over town. Food trucks, artisans, entertainment, bounce house.
Donna Morin Ramirez, owner of Donna's Bell Bonds, shows me where several vendors will be set up inside her business.
I'm going to use this for the pancake lady.
Sinton Forward is an organization made up of local businesses. They are the ones hosting the event, which has been in the works for months.
We love Sinton, and we want people to come in and join us here in our community. There's so much to do here. We have antique stores, we have a little bit of everything.
Randy Hamlin, owner of Indigo Lane, along with Morin Ramirez, says the Sip and Stroll is more than an event. It's bringing hope, especially after numerous fires took place in the community earlier this year.
See how far we've come from the fires to today. I think the town really needed something to rally around. We rally around our kids wholeheartedly, sports wholeheartedly, and this is just something else, something extra.
The event will be hosted on November 8th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in downtown Sinton, an event they hope others near and far will support.
Each of our towns, they're important, and it's important to support local towns, because if you want to visit in the future, you got to visit now.
Organizers say that they hope that this Sip and Stroll event is just the beginning and plan to hold more community events to keep moving Sinton forward. In Sinton, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Ana Conejo, Chris 6 News.
Ana, thank you. Well, make sure you have some queso, salsa, and guacamole within reach because it's National Nacho Day. We'll share the crunchy snacks history next.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
Well, today marks National Nacho Day, so here's some quick history on this crunchy appetizer. The snack originated in Mexico. History has that it was created by a restaurant worker named Nacho in the 1940s. He needed a snack for a group of U.S. Army wives who walked in, so he cut up tostadas into triangle shapes and covered them with cheese and jalapenos, and the snack was a hit. The popularity of nachos spread throughout Texas, the Southwest, and eventually nationwide. So I don't know how much I believe this story because over there in Mexico, we don't eat
don't
the
eat
yellow
that.
cheese.
They don't eat that.
So, but you know what? It just,
Still
whatever
tasty.
cheese you got, I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's grilled dinner right there, and it might be for this evening too,
Yeah,
depending
same.
on how bold you're feeling. It's Thursday. It's almost Friday.
It's almost.
So if you're going out for football tonight, you know Game Night South Texas is Thursday. We're going to be airing all the greats tonight. Larissa Lisko will be in London. It's going to be a chilly evening here with those temperatures in the upper 60s around midnight.
Have a good night, everybody.